I'm MarsFrequency.
I'm MariahtheSoul.
You're watching
From Soul
to All right, you guys, there is a lot to chit-chat about because it has been just a long week.
This year is so far is just like, we're going to be very busy. We're going to be very busy with topics this year
Okay. So let's just jump into it, girl. Let's just tap in. How are you? How has your week been? What have you been up to this week?
Week was a little hectic, but I did have a much needed girls' night with one of my best friends, Mariah. We went to go see One of Them Days, the SZA and Keke Palmer movie.
Oh my God, I'm so jealous. How was it?
Go see it. It's so good. Like, it just covers so many topics, but it's also a girls' night movie. But it's one of those girls' night movies that's not too girly. Like, I don't know how to explain. It was good. It was just good for us. Like, they're definitely like, they remind me of me and my friends. Like, the way they act in the movie, just amazing acting. Yeah, and I found out that SZA had posted about it, they filmed it in 22 days, which I was really surprised about. Like, that's kind of short to film a movie, but it's like Issa Rae, she's always gonna do her thing. Soundtrack was amazing, storyline was amazing. So many actors. Cat Williams was in it. He had a way bigger role than I thought he was gonna have. Like, it's a good movie.
He was playing like a homeless person, right?
Yeah, he was playing Lucky, this homeless man that kind of guides them through their bullshit. Like, so I thought he was only gonna have that one role. I didn't realize how like reoccurring his character was gonna be, but it was definitely like, it was on brand for like who he was for 2024. To play that role, it was like, all right, like, this makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't talk too much because
How was your week?
My week has been full with drama and gossip. I have been so tapped into Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, their lawsuit.
This is like the new Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. That's what I'm getting from this.
Way more juicy, I feel like. We'll cover it later on in the show, but
yeah.
Oh my gosh, like, I have just been so tapped into that. I signed up for Red Note.
I don't know about that yet. I don't know if it's too soon to jump on it. I'm like, but yeah, I heard it's very interesting over there. How is it?
China is doing well.
Yeah. I mean, they're always way more advanced than we are. That is a fact. And I think there's a lot of propaganda that goes on. Like, when you actually leave the country, 'cause I remember the first time I left the country, I went to Mexico. And this was I was like 21 when I went to Mexico for the first time. Girl, when I tell you they were doing the tap to pay to get on the bus way before we were doing, like, they were so far advanced, and I'm like, this is what you guys consider like a poor country. Like, they were so ahead of us on so many things, and I was just like, it's crazy because you look on TV and you think of like,
it's just like the lies are just being revealed.
Yeah.
Thank you, 50. Thank you, Kat.
Right? They started it all.
Let's turn in our tarot card. Is there anything that you would like to turn in your tarot card about this week?
I think that more on a positive note, I'm learning to like vocalize more and be more clear about the type of people I want around me. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't that way for a while. I was very much like a yes girl. Like, yes, I'll do this. Yes, I'll come. And even in spaces that I was uncomfortable. Now I'm more in a space where I'm just like, no, this doesn't fit me. Or, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't suit the path I'm on. So, yeah, like, I had a friend of mine that she had invited me to go to a strip club on Friday. Okay. Now, the week I had, but I had a very rough week this week. And to me, it was just like, that's not the space I want to be in right now. And I had to be honest. Like, at first I caught myself saying yes. And then I was like, Mariah, do you really want to go? Like, and I had to let her know. And I think she felt a way about it. But it was just like, at the end of the day, like, I'm not going to force myself into a situation that I don't want to be in. Like, and it's just, you're not an enjoyable person when you're in a place you don't want to be in, you know?
Yeah, it's very freeing to just be like, no, and not have any feelings about it.
Yeah.
You know,
and I think I'm there now where I'm just like, I got to worry about my comfort. So
yeah, no, I feel that.
It felt really good. Like, even I talked to my mom about it, and she was like, no, you did the right thing. Like, don't force yourself
like,
into
if you don't want to do something, don't do it. Like, I've definitely been feeling that. Bad Bunny,
girl,
he posted a video of like saying, hey Siri, what's the biggest song in the world right now?
Bad Bunny listen, he makes me so proud to be Puerto Rican. He makes me I love what he did. He needs all the shout outs for what he did, because that is such a Puerto Rican album. I love how he's owning that it's a Puerto Rican album. It was even an interview where they asked him about references, because a lot of the references are very specific to Puerto Rico. And I get it. He represents all Latino people, but he always has made it clear, like, he's for Puerto Rico. Like, that's what he's representing. And they asked him, they were like, do you like care that people aren't really understanding the references? And he was like, I don't give a fuck. He's like, this is for my people. Also, I wanted to touch on, did you see how he corrected National Geographic on X? Yeah. So they had, I don't know if you've seen, the protagonist in his album is the concho, the frog. that he's...
Yeah.
Yes.
The
Yeah, so no, that's what he had. So National Geographic basically had made a post like shouting him out for representing the coqui, and like,
yeah.
but then he corrected it's not the coqui. It's actually, before it was the coqui, the national frog of Puerto Rico was the concho toad. So he corrected them and he said, no, this is the concho toad. And he was like, if like, yes, the coqui is going extinct and you know, that's a big thing. But he was like, he really was trying to get to the root of like Puerto Rican culture. And I like that he's like,
because when I did watch the short film, and I thought it was so beautiful, and it was very straight to the point. Like,
yeah,
there's no way to not get what he meant and what he was talking about in that. But now that I think about it, the comedic relief, which was the toad, did not look like a coqui.
Yeah, they look different.
They look completely different. So that's interesting to hear, because I got it mixed up too, because I just immediately thought that it was the coqui because...
No, me too. I did, because that made sense to me, like that what it would be. But then when he said that and I started reading, and it's cool, he's just making people kind of research a little bit more, like, you know, he's really into us not losing that culture, because Puerto Rico is at a point right now where we're kind of in the, you know, we're heading towards, which is why in the album he shouted out like Hawaii, and then the song he's saying, I don't want to happen to Puerto Rico what happened to Hawaii. I love him. I love him.
Porque en verdad rompieron.
Can you hear this?
I need my flag.
Baldoni is a light of hope on the prison planet, especially for people of color. Because you know what? It's like, not only I've been like looking and researching, not only Puerto Rican people are feeling very inspired, but all Caribbean people, I think, are also feeling inspired by this, because especially, I would say, the New Yorkers and like, for example, like Jamaicans that come here and stuff like that, Dominicans that come here, like everybody is feeling like, oh, I need to go back home. Oh, I need to buy some land. Oh, I need to, you know, and all of those things. So he's just also giving such great hope to...
Yeah, and that residency that he's doing, that is such a bold thing for him to do, for him to say, you know what, I'm not going to tour the world yet. Y'all going to come to where I am, and that's money that's going to go into Puerto Rico. It's great. It's really amazing what he's doing.
Yeah, I'm super happy and proud. And you know what? Sometimes you have to go through the Hollywood malarkey and come back to your roots. And I feel like that's exactly kind of what happened.
I feel like he got a little bit though of that Kardashian taste, and he was like, no, this is too much. Like, I'm getting too far gone. Like, I need to go back home. I think that's
After
what happened.
El Club, he said, I'm going home.
Yeah. He said, I can't do this.
I would even just love to see him low key with the girl he started out with.
And that's my heart. I feel like every Latino, anyone that knows about that whole lore is like, please, that's who you belong with. That was his I don't know. I love them. Yeah.
Also, we just need to we got to go to PR now, because like now I feel super inspired too. Let's try to do that this summer.
No, yeah, that a trip we're way overdue for a PR trip.
But yeah, I just wanted to, you know, highlight some of these things, because it's also just culturally, like, people are looking for people to be real and be themselves. So it's just really nice to see. And I mean, we all see the gentrification that's happening in Puerto Rico, people stealing beach access from locals and things like that. So I definitely think it's a conversation that needs to be had, and people buying land in PR and not respecting the Puerto Rican people.
Yeah, and I just love to see the New York Puerto Rican connect, because I think too there's been a loss of culture even in the past couple of years when New Yorkers we're here. You know, it's very easy to get Americanized. It's very easy for us to be kind of swept under the, especially because there are a lot of other Latin cultures coming out here. And I don't know if you remember, but like the early 2000s, like being Puerto Rican was it. You know what I'm saying? Like it was so many, the reggaeton music was, and so I feel like he's bringing all of that back. I was so upset when that happened. I was so upset when he was in the train.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. Like, we're never in the area where things like this go on.
I wanted to clock out of work
This
so
is
bad.
definitely 34th Street, though.
Yeah, but I work right in Canal, so I was like, he's right there. Like, why the fuck? I'm sitting here at this fucking job.
Yeah, but he went crazy.
Yeah.
You want to hear it a little bit?
I'm so sad. Yo. Can I just say, so I have a musical prediction, and this I want this in here because I feel like it's gonna happen with Bad Bunny.
Uh-oh. What's the musical
I feel
prediction?
like he's going to remix around the Puerto Rican Day Parade, the Big Pun. Puerto Rico.
Oh.
I feel like he's gonna remix it.
No way.
Yeah, and when it happens, I'm gonna replay this. Like, something's gonna happen. He's gonna perform it or something, but he has to because he did shout out Big Pun a lot in the album. So I just feel like it's only right. He's the only person I feel like that could take that song and like do something with it.
I would love it if that happened.
Mars said, "I'll learn Spanish."
I will switch my Duolingo. Yo, that would be so cool. That would be so cool. Oh my gosh. Okay, so another couple things that are happening on the Prison Planet. Beyonce did have a announcement 4 days ago. She was supposed to have an announcement. She rolled it out after her Christmas performance. Obviously, she postponed that out of respect for what's happening in LA right now. So we don't know what's going on with that. And also, The Weeknd has postponed his album release due to the fires because nobody just wants to be insensitive to the situations. So it's just bigger things happening.
Yeah, I do respect it though. And I think they understand the level of artists that they are and like them putting it on pause, how it kind of puts the world on pause. And it makes people kind of look at what's going on that probably weren't even acknowledging what was going on.
Right,
So
exactly.
I think it is important for artists to do that.
Yeah, so let's slide on into the real. Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. Have you heard anything about this story?
Yeah.
You need my assistance?
I've been pretty tapped into it.
Okay, great. Hey, great.
Yeah, I've been pretty tapped into it.
Then now we can just do our thing. Okay, so I'm just going to pull up a timeline for the people. That's also a reason why I love this software because it's so easy to use.
Yeah.
Okay. So I found the entire timeline of Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni's sexual harassment case. So because we're both already, this is from Cosmopolitan, you guys, just so you know. And all of this is alleged until we get the concrete facts. Okay. They were doing a film together called It's End With Us. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I watched it.
You watched it? Okay. What were your thoughts on the movie?
So I had to read a little bit about it before I watched it, and I'm glad I did because I was able to kind of understand the take a bit more. Mm-hmm. Because it can be a bit confusing because to someone that's experienced domestic violence, it sometimes seems like it was trying to portray that he wasn't being violent or there was confusion in that. But then when I read a bit more about like the book, and the perspective is supposed to be from her perspective, where as a victim, you don't always see things as violent or you tell yourself that they're not violent. But I think that can be very confusing to some people where it almost looked like he wasn't that abusive. It was very weird. Like you had to kind of, I'm someone who I think about like how people direct movies and like the message they're trying to put. So I look a little bit more into it. Not everyone watches movies from that lens.
Right.
So it could look like it kind of simplified it. In terms of with what's going on, I do agree that she did try to kind of make it a girls' night fun movie thing and that also could mess with the message being at how the movie's filmed. Because her presenting the movie that way and then you watch the movie, it almost looks like it's like glorifying it in a way.
That was a big part of the critics. They had different like conflicting reviews because people felt like abuse was being portrayed as something that's sensationalized when that's not how the book was. And that's sometimes not how domestic violence is in real life. But then, with the deep dive and with all of this going on, here's a few things that I wanted to know, like even as an actor. As an actor, Blake Lively did not read the book.
She didn't? Like, that's a fact?
That's a fact. She did not read the book. So I feel like there are nuances and even getting into the character's mind and understanding the character that you're playing, especially if it's based off a book. That is homework that you need to do as an actor. You need to read the book. You need to know the character. It was said multiple times, and even, in the receipts that we have seen, because Justin's team they just dropped everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, she did not read the book. So you can also tell, like, that's why when you said, like, you had to go back and see some references and things like that. Like, obviously, books and movies the adaptation can be different, but you don't want it to stray away so far from what we are expecting from the book that it becomes a rom-com.
Yeah, and especially when you're dealing with sensitive topics like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think you have to be very conscious of how you're presenting that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, even when I watched her interviews about it,
Mm-hmm.
it was just too friendly. And then she made like was it a drink? There's something that she was making. I think there were drinks she was serving at the release party that were based on things that happened in the movie. It was just like very insensitive to what the topic was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't know she didn't read the book, because that makes so much more sense.
She didn't read the book.
Yeah, I don't think she should have done a movie like this if she wasn't going to be sensitive.
Or she should have allowed herself to be directed and not have tried to take the film over to then create her own better mainstream career.
Yeah, and I think she would have been taken way. I mean, she's already taken pretty serious, but I think she would have been taken way more serious as an actress if she had done her homework and treated the movie with the care that it needed to be treated with, because that could have been a very serious. It was a serious role. You know what I'm saying? Probably the most serious role that I've ever seen her in. Like,
I've never seen her play a role like this, so it really could have been an amazing, amazing break for her. But I feel like a little ego and other people putting a battery in her back, i.e. Ryan Reynolds, somebody who has a lot of power, who's her husband. He had done a similar situation with the first Deadpool.
Yeah.
The original director of Deadpool did not sign on again because of similar allegations of taking over the film. But my thing is, so we know they filmed it. We know that Ryan Reynolds, during the writer's strike, decided to write some of the scenes, etc. Now, I want to scroll over to the lawsuit, because we all know what happened before the lawsuit, okay? The New York Times. The New York Times, they're the first people to break the article where Blake Lively decided to sue Justin Baldoni for sexual harassment while on set. They released text messages that could be seen as sexual harassment. The issue is, once those allegations came out, it opens the door then for Justin Baldoni's team to then correct what is being accused, right? Yeah. So then Justin Baldoni, which I don't even think that they were seriously suing the New York Times. I feel like they filed the lawsuit to sue New York Times so that they can then get their story out, their side of the story.
Yeah.
Right? And so once that happened and they started releasing everything, I don't think Blake and her team calculated this part. And my thing is, if you're sending text messages and all of that, and then you're planning to sue someone for sexual harassment, knowing what that means to the world that we live in now, there has to be full accountability. We have to know the full scope.
Now, I feel like, and just based on everything, and yes, they are big names, Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively, you know what I'm saying? But I think she sees herself as more than what she is, and she thought she was going to be able to just make these allegations and she was going to be like America's sweetheart and everyone. And that's what I'm saying. Like, you guys aren't, I can't even think of someone that would be at that level where they could just say something like that and then not be read into a bit more. Mm-hmm. But I do think everyone would be like, oh, this makes sense now. You know what I'm saying? But it doesn't excuse you acting like this was a girls' night movie. It doesn't excuse you not even speaking on domestic violence when this is what the movie was about. Like, it doesn't take those things away. And I think it actually ended up hurting her case more, because that's how I felt. I'm not gonna lie. Like, as a victim myself, I felt like this doesn't change those interviews that are already out where you're laughing and giggling about this movie. So I think they just thought they had the pull. Like, they might have the Hollywood pull, but as in terms of like the general audience, they don't have that kind of pull to just say something like that and it'd be like, oh yeah, it's probably true because you were in Sister of the Traveling Pants and we all love that movie. Like, I don't like.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, like, to the general public, Blake Lively has a track record of being a mean girl.
Mm-hmm.
In every film that we've seen that she's done, it's always been some kind of issue with someone or some people on set as it pertains to Blake Lively. So it's just, you have to be so far removed to think that you are America's sweetheart. That's just not the case. Like, we look at Blake Lively for beauty, turning a look possibly, and being Ryan Reynolds' wife. And from Sister of the Traveling Pants, and Gossip Girl,
Yeah.
you know? And so it just feels like I hate to think that someone would lie about sexual harassment in the workplace and attempt to ruin someone's career based off of the fact that it's not your film. And it really seems like from the text messages, it seems like somebody feelings might have gotten into play here and they've gotten rejected. And maybe someone's husband found out.
Yeah. It's a little.
And now,
Yeah,
here
like
we
gotta
are.
save face. It's just, I don't know.
Here
it's
we are. And for her to say that, like, Justin and them started the smear this is the funniest part to me because they didn't start the smear campaign. It was organic.
Yeah,
She's just not likable.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, how, okay, granted, yeah, headlines can be put out there, but a lot, the first thing I saw when it came to this movie was the fact that people were upset about how she was portraying the movie to be. She literally said, grab your girls, grab your popcorn, and go see this movie. And it was just like, no trigger warning, no nothing. So that's what I'm saying. Like, she did it herself.
The thing is that we would have not known everything that we know if she didn't accuse somebody of a smear campaign for her bad press, even during the premiere where they put him in the basement.
Yeah.
Did you see those pictures, girl? What is this? What is the wardrobe? I've been wondering what the wardrobe.
So there is a scene when they go to the bar in onesies.
Okay, so this is where he and his family and agents and everything got to watch the premiere because they were not allowed to be in the same theater as Blake because of the sexual harassment allegations and because of just the work environment.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not kidding. And
are they sitting by soda?
Yes, because they were not allowed in the theater. They never did press together. And apparently, I was also reading something where Blake had taken liberties in the scenes. You know, when you are an actor, you rehearse things. When it comes to intimacy, you rehearse these things. You know what I mean? You rehearse the kissing, and I get like sometimes you improv it and you just take creative control. But there were multiple times where, and it's also on video because they were filming, where Blake, without his consent, kissed him multiple times where he didn't even know that was going down. But he chalked it up to acting, but there were multiple times where she took liberties that she is saying that he took with her.
Yeah, and I even seen the whole debate that she tried to argue about the soundtrack. I think she wanted to use like a Lana Del Rey song for like a very sexual song for a scene, and I think he felt like, I may be wrong, but he did say that he felt like it was a bit much for that kind of scene. Like he was trying to make the sex scenes a little bit more passionate, basically, and he was just like, that's not really the gist of the movie. Like, yeah, those scenes are in there, but so it's very weird. It's very just.
And then like it's just her text, like all of the information that we've received is just, is she manic? What's going on?
Yeah.
And then also Ryan Reynolds, I get it, you're defending your wife, but also like speaking to somebody in that kind of aggressive tone when it's not even your film is ridiculous.
I feel like there's a lot of lines of professionalism that they're crossing, and they're also too experienced in the industry to do that. Like, I understand she has some director background and stuff like that, but sometimes when you're just there to act, that's what you should be doing. Involving your husband in as if like, because you guys think you're this Hollywood power couple or whatever it is, it's very unprofessional. Like, I just don't feel like it's giving very high school, to be honest. Like, it's giving very like, why is your husband on set all the time? I definitely think she messed up like future movies for herself and future projects.
And it's just so crazy because it's just a huge missed opportunity. This could have been her film to be taken as a serious actress.
Yeah, because I know she didn't make movies for a while after having the kids and stuff like that.
And another thing, before we get into the meat and potatoes of it all, not her feeling fat shamed because he has multiple back injuries and multiple
and about lifting her up, yeah.
And he asked the trainer who was supposed to coordinate this lift, where he's like, I just want to make sure because my back is messed up. I want to make sure I can do this safely. And she gets pissed about it and says, oh, he's fat shaming me. No, like this is how tapped and unrealistic I feel like her mindset is, because like, you're an actor, you know this, you know all of these things. Like, why are you acting like this is all new information to you? Yes, everything does need to be safe, and if he has a bad back, and he can't pull it off, it's not because of your weight, it's because he has a bad back.
Yeah, I know. It's like she picked that thing towards the end and just was like, it was, yeah, I don't know.
And
She's
then
supposed to be playing Mrs. Deadpool or something.
Yes, and then they did the Knights Pool thing. I would love for all of this to play out, but I feel like they're going to settle.
Yeah, because if not, it's going to be like, to me, like Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, where it's just a competition to see who was the bigger dick. Like, it was just like, bro, just leave it alone.
The majority of people are on the fact side, and from what we see, and I feel bad for Blake, because if they would have never doctored those text messages in the beginning, I feel like, you know, she would have been taken a little bit more seriously. But now that we all know that she lied about that, and any kind of sexual inappropriate things happening in the workplace is such a big topic these days, that we don't play when it comes to that, because we've all at some scale have dealt with something like this. So it's just like, you can't lie on things like this for your own benefit.
Yeah, you're offending like multiple people. You're offending people who have been falsely accused. You're offending people that have been through this. You're offending people. Like, it's a big slap in the face to fans. And it really did, like, I think it put a blemish on what could have been a very great movie. Like, could have done a lot and created bigger conversations. And now that the conversation is about the drama behind the movie, it's almost like you can't, even watching it, because I watched it obviously after everything started to come out, because it almost immediately went to fucking Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
But you just makes you not take it as serious. Like I said, I did research because I wanted to know a bit more about the movie before I watched it, just for my own stuff. And I did understand where they were trying to go with it, but again, let people know of the triggers that are going to come up in this movie. But none of that was spoken about. On his end, he did, though. I heard that he did say that he actually met with victims of abuse as well as abusers to get to, you know, actually study and do his homework on the situation so he can portray these things accurately. So in these situations, no one cared about the man's interview. Everyone wanted to see what the woman had to say because she was the victim in the movie. But yeah, she ruined such a good thing.
Yep. It just really seems like he's correct in this. He even asked for 1% of the proceeds of whatever the film made go to victims of domestic violence.
Yeah.
So it just feels like, you know, he got the rights to the book, you know, did all of that. So it just really feels like this was a passion project that he really wanted to bring to life. I think it's a lesson to him for being a pushover and allowing a lot of things, and not, you know, as a director, standing on your 10 toes and saying, I'm directing this film, I got the rights to the film, this is my production company, and this is what I need to see through. So it's just like he allowed people with power to manipulate him and intimidate him into giving up his film.
Well, I think it would have been a powerful film if they had used maybe a new actress, someone who wasn't as known. Like, I think I want to see movies doing that now too. I feel like we're seeing the same faces in movies. We're seeing people thrown in movies just because of their name. We have all these social media people now. It's like, no, let's get some new faces in, and, you know, it also just takes away, I think, from the character when you use too much of a familiar face.
But I feel really bad for him. You know, we'll obviously keep you guys updated on this story, but I would love to know what your guys' opinion on this whole situation is. And obviously, don't just take our opinion for it. I would love for you guys to do your research and figure that out. Something that I really wanted to say is sexual harassment is not something to play with or anything like that. And I hope this is not the case, but when one person lies on sexual abuse, sexual harassment, anything like that, it makes the next 150,000 girls be questioned if what happened to them actually happened to them. Yeah. So you have a responsibility to not lie about those kind of things, because there are so many people in the world that this is actively happening to that don't have a voice because of situations like this.
Yeah, and you're taking.
So that's how I feel about it. It's, you know, as somebody who has gone through sexual harassment and things like that and abuses in those kind of realms, it's really hurtful if this is a lie.
Yeah.
Allegedly. That's the weekly roundup. I would like to send some blessings. I want to send some blessings to any girl that has gone through sexual abuse, any girl that has gone through sexual harassment, sexual intimidation in the workplace, because this happens so much that it can almost feel normalized. So I just want you guys to know that you do have a voice and you are not alone. And if it feels wrong, then it is wrong.
Yeah.
How about you?
Well, send a blessing. I just feel like, because it was the beginning topic, I want to send blessings to, I don't know if you heard about that business that was burnt down in Puerto Rico. I saw that kind of went viral.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
I want to send blessings to everyone over there. And especially with the album that came out, there was like a streaming party that everyone came to listen, and all the tickets, all the proceeds went to the business. So yeah, I just want to send blessings to my people back on the island. And I hope that this summer is very prosperous for the island with everything that's going to be going on with the residency and everything over there.
Yes, we will also delve a little bit deeper into this topic next week.
Yeah.
Because this is mind-blowing. I can't wait to break this to you guys. It's literally mind-blowing. But yeah, that's it for this week. We will see you guys next week.
Next week. We'll be back. Same time, same place.
Same time, same place. See ya.